my favorite bubble tea is the original bubble tea with the tapioca pearls and the marble sugar around it. It's called Zhenzu Nai Cha in Chinese. And it's also the main staple drink, the most famous signature drink of our shop.
Why knowledge matters. Sebastian Kahler, welcome to the show. It's such a pleasure. I can't wait to start talking about you. I remember we met the very first time. I think it was in Vevey about 10 years ago, and we kept in touch. And I'm so thrilled now to have you now from China, right?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm very happy to participate to your podcast.
And Dr. Manzoor Chaudhary, is with me. He's always a great resource. I think we will have a wonderful talk. Now, what is Mayo Bubble Tea?
So basically, Mayo Bubble Tea is a brand of bubble tea that started in 2020, right before COVID. And basically, over the last 3 years, we've grown it into the leading bubble tea brand in Switzerland.
Dr. Manzoor, bubble tea is really fascinating. I had my very first bubble tea, I think it was 5 years ago. And I was always wondering, a lot of Asian people were always holding this bubble tea in their hands. And I was always like, what's that? It didn't make sense for me. It was always like tea or coffee. And once I tried bubble tea, I was absolutely blown away. And I purchased basically every single day when I was in Australia a bubble tea because it just was so good. It's a beverage that really, I can't believe it. And that's why I'm so glad that you are now in this industry, especially also with your background, right? You were working for really the biggest, food company in the world. And did you ever try bubble tea, Dr. Manzoor?
No, this is the thing. I'm excited also to learn today from Sebastian, who is I think he's one of those people who are pioneering this, and they're promoting the bubble tea. By the way, I just want to also mention that I was born in a country called Bangladesh. I'm sure Sebastian knows Bangladesh, and where I was born. It's almost like tea garden, and Bangladesh is very, very famous for tea plantation and one of the best teas in Bengali tea and Assam tea. Those are teas.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Chinese teas are also fascinating. So I am so excited. I'm enthusiastic about to learn more from Sebastian today about this wonderful fascinating news that bubble tea. I never tried bubble tea yet. But this is an opportunity.
Then you have to try as soon as possible. Yannick will have to take you to a nearby shop.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's also I was really impressed because you have more than 15 bubble tea shops now in Switzerland, and I think more than 100 sales points. In other words, shops within shops, right, from your products. So now tell us a little bit, how did it all start?
So basically, it started a little bit earlier than 2020, during the summer of 2019. My former employer who started the company, his name is Robbie. He started to test the market in Switzerland basically by setting up a table at the swimming pool of in the little city called Morges, where he's based. Beautiful. And the product was sold out right away after 2 days of selling. Then it was the proof that there was demand for the product. And then that's at this moment that he started to realize that there was a strong potential in Switzerland, and that he started working on the brand.
Wow. So yeah, I mean, again, it's really fascinating. And then when did you personally try the very first time a bubble tea, and how did you get involved with him? Because, did you just bump into him and, how did it unfold? How did you actually meet, your business partner? I believe you're still business partner, right?
Yeah. So basically, the first time that I drank bubble tea was around 11, 12 years ago. I went to a shop in Geneva, and it was possibly, I guess, one of the first shop in Switzerland. And the first thing that I noticed was that there was only Asian people from Hong Kong, from mainland China, Singapore, or from other Asian countries. But there was no or very few Swiss people who would go there. And basically, the way that I enter into this business is when I came back to Switzerland in 2020. I came to visit my friend who's a hairdresser by training, Roberto, who developed this bubble tea, who started this bubble tea brand, and then he told me that he started this bubble tea concept with this existing brand called Migno. And I was shocked to see that in February, when it's very cold outside in Switzerland, people still go to the shop and queue for several minutes in order to get to try or to get their fix of bubble tea, and I found it very exciting. Yeah.
So now I'm curious, what's your favorite bubble tea?
My favorite bubble tea is the original bubble tea with the tapioca pearls and the marble sugar around it. It's called Zhenzu Nai Cha in Chinese. And it's also the main staple drink, the most famous signature drink of our shop.
What was one of the big challenges that you encountered and your colleague when you started really the business in Switzerland? What was one of the big concerns or the challenges that you faced?
Basically, there were so many challenges. But one of the biggest one was the supply of bubble tea. We had to identify different suppliers, both in Europe who were importing the product from Taiwan, and as well as find the factories that makes a quality product directly in Taiwan. And when you have this kind of very distant logistics, that creates challenges, especially right in the middle of COVID, when the freights became extremely expensive, when there was delay of production, delay of shipping by boat, and that was very challenging times. But in the end, it was also a test for the different stakeholders in the business, and we ended up managing it pretty well and managed to keep growing even during these challenging times.
Yeah, this is really fascinating, Dr. Munjur. Imagine like you have like all these shops, and you go through COVID, and you have all this disruption too, in the supply chain, right? Which is still, I guess, ongoing in so many ways, and you keep still going. Yeah.
Well, I think definitely this is not only fascinating, it is something. The name itself is making me wonder what is the reason behind making the name bubble tea. Is there anything that Sebastian can explain us why it is named bubble tea, and what are the advantages of having bubble tea over other teas that traditionally we have been drinking?
So basically, bubble tea is not just a tea, but it's a little bit in between a tea and food. So it's a sort of a snack, and the bubble thing come from the actual toppings that you put in it. It can be either the tapioca pearl, which you use to make the original milk tea, or it could also be the pearls, which is called popping boba, in which you have some liquid syrup of fruit, and when you bite them, and then it explodes. So that's basically where it comes from, the bubble name.
And now also you are actually based right now in China. You're working there. So what is
Yeah.
the reason that you are right now in China? And, by the way, it's just super fascinating. I'm so happy for you. I mean, what an adventure, in a different culture. It's such a with such a rich history, and I'm always fascinated in general by Chinese people, just about their work ethics, about so many things. They're so talented. I have so many Chinese friends, and yeah. So, what makes you to be right now in China?
Oh, different reasons, but I have a long love relationship as well with China, and I moved here really physically in a consistent way since 2018. I came to do my master here, and then I decided to open this company here with my partner Robbie, because we decided to develop a cup insert that you basically put inside the cup, which enables you to separate the topping from the tea so that you can have a long shelf life. And why we decided to open the company here, specifically because we need to be in the market in China to sell the products, to find distributors, and also because of the manufacturing capabilities that you have in China. That's you can have a very good quality at a very affordable rate.
So basically,
And
you have shops or the business like not just in Switzerland but also in China itself.
no. In China, we are only here to manufacture the product. So that's what I've been basically doing here, finding suppliers, finalizing the product, because it was quite a bit of engineering. It doesn't look like, but it was.
Wow,
And
and
the
how was
shops,
it? Yeah.
the shops are only in Switzerland. Basically, it's impossible to compete against Chinese brand because they have so much experience. They're already so well established. So we cannot compete. We can maybe compete on European grounds and Swiss ground, but for making the actual drink, it's impossible. It's impossible. So we want to sell them this packaging solution that we're the only one who managed to make it, basically.
Oh wow. And where do you
And we actually got a patent recently from CNIPA, which is the Chinese National Institute of Intellectual Property, and from TIPO, the equivalent in Taiwan.
Okay, so explain a little bit more about about this whole process that you guys are developing there. So just for our viewers and listeners that they understand kind of the reason behind.
So basically, we started with the bubble tea brand, and then my partner quickly realized that there are some limitation with the business model that has been employed in business in bubble tea, not only in Europe but also in China, where your sales are limited by the amount of consumers that can walk or drive to your shop, and the amount of drinks that you can deliver within your vicinity by partnering with companies like Uber Eats or Smooth, like we have in Switzerland, or other partners. And the solution that my partner came up with was to do this ready to drink. So basically, some signature cocktail that we developed that were tailored to the taste of Swiss customers. So again, for this, we had to do a little bit of R&D to figure out how to make them stable, to keep the same texture and freshness, so that the consumers can have the same experience than if they were drinking it right off the bubble tea shop. And in order to have an even longer shelf life, that's when my partner thought of developing this cup insert that you put inside the cup, basically.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and then you put it in, and then basically you mix it.
Yeah,
yourself?
basically you would have the tea in the lower parts and the toppings on the top, and then you pierce it, you turn, and then everything falls inside. Unfortunately, I don't have I don't have other how to say prototype. I send them all to the factories. Maybe you can show a video to the audience.
Absolutely, yeah. Wow, this is really, yeah, innovative. Yeah, so smart because of course, as you said, right, there's always a limited amount of people, elderly people who might not be able to walk that long or, due to various reasons. Are you keen to try bubble tea one day after listening to Sebastian?
Of course, of course. Yeah, this is so so interesting. Of course, as I said, I was never thinking about that one day I will be hearing, and also this is a work that Sebastian and his colleagues and partners are doing, something very much motivating for us, right? For people who have entrepreneurial, skills and aptitude. And I think these are all very much, especially connecting the product from China to Switzerland, totally different culture, so, but at the same time, making it as very interesting way. Sebastian is explaining that how to make it more customize it for people from Switzerland or European market. So this is very, very, very interesting. But I still want to go back to my question, if you allow, to Sebastian. Can you tell us a little bit about the advantages? Is there any, the advantages in the context of health issue? Tea has lots of benefits health-wise, but bubble tea, does that tea have something specific over other teas in terms of health benefits?
Yeah, definitely. When it comes to bubble tea, you have the dimension of health that comes into question, and right from the beginning, my partner already was very aware of the high amount of sugar in some of the bubble teas that were served in Switzerland and in other markets, and there are some big difference with the drinks that we do. Is that, for example, when you go to other bubble tea shop, they will ask you the amount of sugar that you want. So it's going to be 0 extra sugar or up to, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 dose. And that was already right away a no-no for my partner. And they decided not to allow the consumer to add extra sugar. So then what do you do? In order to have a perfect product, you need to work with the best ingredients, and that's why we've been contacting all the factories from Taiwan to find the best product in order to offer the best experience to our consumers. And I believe that as part of a healthy diet, it's okay to treat yourself to bubble tea time to time.
And it is interesting because I'm also seeing it is a wonderful way, Sebastian being a person from Switzerland or from Europe, going to China, and he's, experimenting by himself. So, and he can feel that what would be best for the people from his origin, from he is, right? It just cannot be. I think this is one of the best way to be successful in all the different dimensions. In one hand, of course, it is a great thing, and especially in terms of health and benefits of many ways. And on the other hand, of course, entrepreneurial way also to make it more balanced and optimum for both sides. Yeah, I'm very, very happy to hear that. Yes.
Yeah, basically, when I came to China, one of the things that I wanted to do was to see what was happening in the market. It's a very exciting country where people are trying a lot of new things, where there are lots of new technologies, new and one of the things that I wanted was to bring back a little piece of China and to and as a result of bringing Chinese tea culture and more specifically bubble tea, I feel that I'm doing my little bit of contribution to introduce the Chinese culture to European people.
Exactly.
And I feel it very, very rewarding.
This is fascinating. This
Yeah,
is
yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah. So this is also a personal question. So how was it also with the adjustment? You told us you were there now for about almost like 4 years, roughly, I guess. And how was it with the adjustment? I guess, it's very different, obviously, Chinese culture. So did you had any, some struggles at times, or how did you navigate these cultural barriers that you might have faced,
I didn't spend an entire 4 years. I came back for a little bit of time during COVID in Switzerland. But indeed, living in China is something very different than living back in Switzerland or other European countries. But it's all about coming to the country with an open mind and be willing to try new things, experiment, and sometimes also question a little bit yourself about what you learn and try to adapt to the place. It's about flexibility at the end of the day, working here and living here, and so far it has been a great experience. And I recommend it to all my friends and all the people who are considering working abroad or going on a study program abroad.
Yeah, this is really amazing. Now, a little bit towards the end, where do you see the future of the company, like, and of bubble tea, specifically in Switzerland?
The future of bubble tea, in Switzerland, there's going to be, I think the trend is going to continue to be positive in this industry. There has been a lot of growth during COVID, and it's still continuing. And I believe that more and more of our competitors will see the way that we grow, that we grew the company, and will want to adopt the same business model, because it's in a place where you have a high cost of labor. The best way to grow is to basically do ready to drink now. That's the best way to scale, by overcoming the limitation of capital that you need to put up in a shop. And that's my vision for at least Switzerland, other high income countries, and people will be continuing to adapt to local recipe, from the traditional Chinese type to the local type. You see everywhere around Europe people trying to localize the recipe, just like we did in Switzerland. And yeah, I believe there's a great future for this drink. It's just the beginning, basically, in all around the world.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so fascinating, and yeah, I also see basically only really grow for this business, especially in Switzerland. So yeah, fascinating. Well, last question, or maybe the most important question: what makes you feel alive, Sebastian?
What makes me feel alive? I think this whole project is a people-intensive project, developing this brand, developing it together with our franchisee, with their employees. It's about creating opportunities and trying to challenge the way that this industry is working, and to create value for all stakeholders. Because if you can improve the efficiencies of the shop, you can hire more people, you can pay better wages to the employee. So that's what is driving me beside making money at the end of the day.
Beautiful. Sebastian, Carla, thank you so much for sharing your amazing endeavor in China right now. And we wish you all the best, and I can't wait to catch up with you.
Thank you very much. Wish you all the best here, guys, as well. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you from me too, Sebastian, for educating me about this wonderful concept of bubble tea and implementation that you are doing. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
That's why knowledge matters.